Great time and amazing conversation all day, starting from the morning crossfire show up until this very moment. Well, this is where I officially welcome you to Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly Wachuku. Call me Kim, the Oracle, the Digital Oracle, OTF, the Fellow, or Chanya One, Madam Speaker. And I will say yes to them all. And I'm super stoked, super excited to be here with you on the show today, as we together look at some of the big stories driving conversation and delve into an equally topical conversation today. So how are you? Did you have ample time to rest over the weekend, or you were queued up at a filling station or fuel station all through the weekend just trying to get fuel? I know, it's a nightmare. I was just talking with some of my colleagues at how, much time. I mean, it changed my entire plan for the weekend completely because of that. And even though it looks like the queues are tinging out, but I'm still seeing quite a number of them. And a number of the fuel stations do not even have PMS at this point in time. And it's a curious one to just find out how you are coping with it. I know the earlier conversation from the Sunny Side Show was talking about it. People were saying, I remember in the wake of the increase when subsidy was removed, and a good number of people were saying, you know what, as long as we're going to get petrol constantly and it's available, we're ready to pay a little extra. Just that was before they knew the depth of the extra that we're going to pay anyway. And eventually, it brought more complaints than adjustment from a lot of people. But the sad part of it is, in spite of how much more people have to pay for it, every now and again, we get this unpleasant surprise with the scarcity kicking in. And this particular one about the logistic of movement is not even clear per se what is responsible. It just started gradually, and before you know it, it just peaked to the point where people have to spend hours. As at Friday, the queue was so long, I was wondering and hoping that over the weekend it was going to get better. Is it any better, really? Because perhaps maybe it's the route I took to work and the places I went. It just felt like it's still pretty much there, still crazy. Yeah, I saw one of the filling stations, the queue wasn't so bad. There were a lot of vehicles within the station itself, not a long queue outside. But there is no way you spend anything less than 45 to 50 minutes, even with the volume of cars that I actually saw there. So it tells you that things are still pretty much crazy. You can share a bit of your experience with us when we get there. All right, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Senator Irebu is not a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not past, not present. He's a journalist and a public affairs analyst. He's going to be joining us on the roundtable to look at some of the big stories driving conversation. Once we hear his perspective and his own interpretation of it, we'll open up the phone lines. We'll get to hear your take and your interpretation of the stories also. So while we wait for our guests to join us, just so you know, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja is our Facebook handle, and YouTube is also at Nigeria Info Abuja. On Instagram, we're at Nigeria Info FM Abuja, and our Twitter handle is at Nigeria Info ABJ. Let's get to hear from this caller while we wait for our guest. Hello.
Madam Speaker.
I hear you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
I wish you say, my brother. Welcome.
SCN.
Say what?
SCN.
SCN.
My name is SCN.
Oh, SCN, you're welcome.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My name is SCN.
Oh, SCN,
Thank you.
welcome. Go ahead.
Experience today on the queue.
Is it still mad?
It's
Is
not
it still
funny.
like badly long? Because maybe I'm in denial. I'm just refusing to really look at some of the filling station. Like, I can't believe this.
Kim, if only we can be permitted to mention some names, like today, I queued from the express,
Oh, wow.
entered to the point that I'm supposed to buy. And just because I have a gallon in the car for generator at home, they said, no, they cannot sell for me. And this is the same station that while on the queue, just you stated that there's a certain station that you met, the queue was not much, or you spend like 45, if not 1 hour.
I agree with you, SN, because, I saw a lot of people with jerry can and a lot of cars packed in, and like, I can't be fooled. I will spend 1 hour if I decide to drive in here.
Honestly speaking, I spent hours in that station.
Aww.
I spent hours in that station. Now getting to where I'm supposed to buy, I beg these people. Because I didn't want to tell them, okay, these are the same people that I've been seeing while on the queue. You are selling for all these aboki. They are going outside, same station to be selling for people. Now there's gotten to my turn now. I said I wanted to put in the car as well. And for the one in the house that wants to use in the gen. And the manager was like, no way. I should just tell them how much I want to buy in the car. That's what they're going to sell for. I said, if you don't want to sell, I don't mind. He said that if I don't want to buy, I should go. I have to drove out that station.
All right.
I don't want small village that I know that they are having one station like that. It's a black market. Anytime you go to that place, you actually going to get fuel. 770. Have to go there and buy.
All right, yes.
And I leave people that were selling 690. It's a terrible experience, seriously.
Indeed.
Seriously. I don't know how we're going to. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's spread to different parts of the country. At first, I thought it was just the federal capital, but apparently, my folks in Kaduna are saying it is biting hard, it is crazy, and everywhere. I mean, it spread so far and wide that it's just, I thought it was a transportation, logistic, whatever problem that was responsible for it. But we're dealing with something that is beyond the federal capital. And just so you know, the National Association of Nigerian Students have threatened to embark on mass action if the federal government fails to make immediate steps or take immediate steps to address the current fuel scarcity in the country. The student body also asked the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Mr. Melekari, to resign if he could not take decisive action to resolve the fuel crisis. The association Senate President Babatunde Akintaye, in a statement today, lamented that the fuel scarcity has left many citizens, including students, frustrated and helpless. And it's reported that in Lagos and other parts of the country, they are currently struggling to get PMS as many filling stations remain under lock and key throughout the weekend. It was observed that the queue, which started last week, have yet to subside, despite assurances from the NNPCL that the logistic issues causing the tightness has been resolved. And it's gathered that some filling stations sell the products between 700 and 800 naira, giving black marketers another opportunity to extort Nigerians desperate, like I was desperate today to get. And then they were calling all kind of redonkulous amounts. The ones who stand on the roadside with the jerry can, like a desperate time call for desperate measures. And they were like, what? No way that's going to happen. Like, no way, Jose. But I fear if this is not resolved, that I might be forced to, because the queues itself, it's a nightmare. So the scarcity already has led to a hike in transportation costs for a lot of people. National Association of Nigerian Students are saying, we're going to take to the street, we're going to protest this if it's not resolved. I wonder how much weight and how much punch they will pack if they decide to do that. And then there's also the concern that, despite the claim by the NNPCL that the issues have been resolved that is causing the scarcity, people are complaining in other parts of the country that they're diverting it to the federal capital. It's gathered that the situation got worse in Lagos and other parts of southwest like Ogun, Oyo, Osun, and others, because there was a directive, now I'm reading from the Punch, by the NNPCL that fuel trucks must service the federal capital before any other place. Aren't you guys special in the FCT? Come on, look at you. So if there's this preferential treatment to the FCT allegedly, how is it that the FCT is still biting hard and people are still complaining and still groaning under the weight of it? So as a result of the majority of trucks leaving the depot in Lagos since Friday are headed in our direction, but the situation is still pretty much critical here. All right, let's take two more calls and we'll move on with our stories. Doesn't look like our guests will be joining us anytime soon. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Oku is my name.
All right.
Yeah, issue of this first cousin. And This issue of national activity of Nigerian students. Kimberly, leave them. And that's why they have threat when they are trying to see all this national association of students or national district, they are all for teachers. And then they should not deceive us. Although Nigerians are living what they are doing in 2050. They are showing them to vote, give their vote, they are changing. They change their vote. At times I don't blame all these people. I blame Nigerians. So what I ask Nigerians to do is that if you go to your worship center, you carry distributor, put it with water. Send the man of God to pray.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, huh? Have a good day, Okwi. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Kim.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Uncle Tom. I'm calling from Bay.
Go ahead, Uncle Tom.
You see, it's planlessness. Please, for God's sake, we are consuming far less than the 30 million liters everyday consumption because the purchasing power is not there. You see, Kerry knows what is there. They had thought maybe with Dangote coming on stream, we'll be able to meet our requirements. And they have been cut hands down, and they are giving reasons up and down. You see, talking about vehicles leaving Lagos to Abuja and the rest of them, security, we've gone past that level. The technology now is that any vehicle that leaves Lagos depot to supply to any part of the country can be tracked. In fact, it's the invoice and manifest showing the product to be delivered at a particular destination. It's programmed, so we don't even need any security. You see, what they have done is that they are cut hands down, and they are talking about 2 weeks, whatever the issue is to resolve. It's all lies, because they know that it takes about 2 weeks for a shipload either in Singapore or Norway to sell to our own district. They didn't do that. So, I don't know. It's very annoying. Okay, finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uncle Tom. But what if the directive itself is perceived to be coming from the NNPC to saying, get it to the FCT? Or are we getting a case of it being diverted somewhere completely different? I know this whole conversation, I know it's something we talk about, even with Majid. We always tell you that there are countries where you can track and trace the movement of every truck and every tanker. But here it feels like a lot of things just go, off radar. They just disappear. No trace, no accountability, no transparency, no monitoring and evaluation of any sort that is going on. Well, you get to see it happen this way in an environment where corruption thrives big time. All right, while we're talking, my guest waltzes his way in, and I'm just happy to announce that I've got Senator Irebu with me here in the studio, journalist and public affairs analyst. Senator, looking sharp. 2024 is your year, my man.
Amen. Amen. Against all odds. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
By faith. Thank you.
I know you mentioned that you had like a packed deal already, but agreed to be part of it.
Yes. You're a special person.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right.
So I overheard you when you were...
Get ready to take your taste buds on an adventure with Eat Right. Experience meals made with love, served with smiles and...
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Court and all this.
When you know manager.
Those who want to obey the rule are punished. Those who want to do the fast pace, because you see the road they're supposed to, they're supposed to queue on the side at the edge, then leave the way, right of way for those who are. But you find out that people who can follow that way and slot something to those hustlers along, they will just create a path for you to bypass the queue and enter. So you get to a point whereby those who want to bypass become longer, also obstructing those who are having the legitimate right of way. So both sides blocks. And it gets so bad that both sides of the road now have an NNPC filling station at the Ali Brother Junction. Now, former Oando is an NNPC. Then the mega filling station here. Yeah. So both sides now.
So either way you're trapped.
Either way you're trapped. Like you're talking about on Saturday, because normally I'll take my children, go to stadium this way. So you will see the queue from this side like snake, long up to the GSM village. Then the one from opposite, also queue from the junction. I was watching, I said, what is going on? The suffering is too much. So, and I don't know if the government is also giving us the right...
But NNPC is saying it was a logistic problem. And the impression I even had initially was there was a logistic problem that was affecting just the federal capital. And everybody from every corner of the country, the southwest, the north central, everyone is complaining. I spoke with a cousin in Ilorin and says, boy, like... most of the fuel stations are shut down. The very few I have, the queues are like as long as 3 days away from the pumps, if you look at it.
Yeah, logistics problem for... This is getting over a week now, right?
Thereabout, yeah. Because I know it started building from Wednesday gradually. That's when I became aware of it.
Tuesday, so just over a week. Like Tuesday last week. So that's the problem we have. Most time we put... the cat before the horse, and thinking that the cat will now drag the horse instead of the opposite. So sometimes that's why people look at when government they look at, okay, how do we generate revenue without looking at the structure itself and put the structures of things in place. I'm coming back to the logistic issue. This logistic problem has been there. So, and what effort has government made over the years, even while you are removing fuel subsidy? Because one of the expectation of fuel subsidy removal, that upon which you subject Nigerians paying higher, is that there should be at least let there be availability of fuel. Nigerians are not expected after paying so much, you remove over 300% increase or so, and you are still having the same problem. So government is just looking at only revenue generation without looking at other logistics that comes with it. Putting efficiency in the sector. Like someone mentioned, we are still having a lot of loopholes within the industry, the supply chain, the logistics, many other things that have not been. So if government is taking this much in terms of fuel subsidy removal, what effort has government made to improve this sector so that there can be supply 24/7, so that whatever may happen in case there should not be supply may be natural disaster that is beyond their power. Like rainy season is coming. You get to a stage whereby you have River Niger with
flood, and the road,
and you have a situation the oil tankers will not be able to cross from the south to the north. So that's why we normally have oil pipeline that should be able to navigate some of these things, whereby you don't need to be having tankers. So these are some of these, and then the refinery in Kaduna, if it's working well, this is something that's supposed to be serving the north, the other one serving the east and west. So these are some of the things government should look into, the infrastructure, the logistics, to make sure that everything is efficient. It's not just increasing money. The same thing we are talking about electricity. You jack up the price, you remove the subsidy,
and yet you're not giving any better service.
No improvement. Rain will fall, just a shower, small breeze, you take light for 24, 48 hours. It doesn't make sense. And this thing have been happening over the years. I asked, okay, I've tried to ask question, what is the problem? And this pattern started in the last 3 to 4 years. Before, if it rains, it's except the storm is too much, they will take the light. Then after the rain ceases, there will maybe few hours you see light restore. But they started this over the last 4 years. It got worse the last 2 years, and over the years it got. Before it will take you maybe if it rain in the night, they extended it in the following morning. You will see light. By last 2 years, it became 24 hours. Last year they extended it 48 hours. So you increase now, you now remove, you put burden on Nigerians. What effort have you made to improve the efficiency as service provider? This is a question I'm putting to both NNPC and the government agencies.
Well, it's a question that will not get answers to, because they've been asking the same questions for a long time.
Yes.
And we don't see the answer in terms of actionable solutions being proffered. Meanwhile, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, yesterday said that the scarcity that is actually spreading to other parts of the country might take 2 weeks to normalize.
How so?
This is even as NNPC is insisting that, hey, we have adequate stock, which, is sounding like, just broken record. There's always, do not panic buy. We have enough stock to last. It's just something that Nigerians are used to. The public relations officer of the IPMAN, Chinedu Ukadike, said the product is not available in the country. He said it's become a bit of a challenge to source the product because most refineries in Europe are undergoing turnaround maintenance. He also blamed the acute shortage in supply on importation bottleneck and the slow pace of marketers' license renewal by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and stated that only 1,050 marketers out of 15,000 have their license renewed by the agency. So we're dealing with no product, lack of supply, inadequate supply, and then the licensing challenge also that comes with it. So if they're giving us heads up 2 weeks, NNPC is saying we have enough. And people have learned to take NNPC with a pinch of salt. It's a government agency, but you understand the trust deficit that we deal with it. When a government body, either as a corporate entity, tells you one thing, Nigerians start to shake in their boots because you really don't know what to believe.
Yes, if you check some of these, the reasons that they gave, these are things that if a government is serious, this is supposed not to be an issue. For example, you mentioned refineries in Europe and turnaround maintenance, and this is a country 20, 30 years ago, we used to have refinery. So are we improving or are we retrogressing? And we now have to depend something as critical, because energy security is critical in the life of a nation. Energy security is one of the topmost, So, and you have to depend on foreign countries for their refineries. So if anything happened, there was a time they say because of Ukraine-Russian war, that's why they imported adulterated fuel, something like that. So there was adulterated fuel imported from Belgium. Then they mentioned Ukraine-Russian war, that it affected logistics and all this. So, and people begin to ask, is it only Nigeria that all this? Why other countries are having, are not having this issue? Except something you can place, maybe if there is hurricane, if there is serious natural disasters, or in the case of where Russia refused to sell to the Europeans or through sanction, that this is a direct, you can understand that. But most of our excuses is something that we have the capacity to actually solve, So, and now coming back to issue of NNPC versus the oil marketers, and I still try to understand how this sector operates. NNPC is supposed to have been commercialized or what? Is not supposed to still be playing the monopoly is playing. The downstream sector, some of these to deregulate it so that more players will come into but you still see NNPC as dominant player. When they cannot meet up, we become so it's supposed to be liberalized in such a way that we have multiple players that can, if MTN is not meeting up, Glo will meet up. If Glo is not meeting up, Airtel will meet up. That's how this sector, I feel, that's supposed to operate. Now, NNPC, I'm sure they are trying to, but their capacity to manage this situation, I'm sure, is not enough. That's why you see them speaking from the communication angle, crisis communication angle. I know they are trying to
do some damage
control. But Nigerians can see through. They say the taste of
once beaten, twice shy.
Yes. So it's the reality. People are looking at the reality, different from what you're saying. So in crisis communication, your action should match whatever you're saying to create that trust. Once that trust is lost, it makes it difficult for a communication manager during crisis time to believe you. Now you have a counter statement, and people may tend to believe the oil marketers because they seem to be the one on ground. They are the one delivering these products. They are the one that have their members, and they are saying that the licensing issue. So if it means calling emergency, and that's why I don't even understand how government react to issues. I expected the first 2 days when this thing...
when people asking questions as to what's responsible for it.
It took time before there was even a response. There was no crisis meeting. There was nothing. Because already people are expecting that with fuel subsidy removal, there should be at least... Let there be fuel. Let it be that Nigerians are suffering the issue of the price increase, how to mitigate it, and all the associated costs. You know that there's food inflation, there are so many things, and all tied to this fuel subsidy removal. So the spiral effect of the fuel subsidy removal, we are yet to come to terms.
The president is still beating his chest and said he saved Nigeria from going bankrupt. That's the stand of the government. They still think if we hadn't pulled the plug at that point, even though it's a little delusional to continue on that trajectory to saying we're not subsidizing one way or the other, the government will not own up to subsidizing, whether it be landing cost or whatever semantics or words we want to play around it. But the fact that the price is still stable shows that somebody, unknown hand has intervened and helping us to keep it stable in spite of all the other variables. Now, the government is saying, if they hadn't removed subsidy, Nigerians, there was no way. Well, there's a fact to it because we were already neck deep in debt. The previous administration made good that indeed they sank us to a debt level where it was no longer practicable to continue to borrow money to do some of these things.
Yes,
if it comes to subsidizing.
If you check now, my argument is not even the viability or the whether removal of subsidy is right or wrong. I think we've
gone past that argument. Yeah.
Yes, we've gone past that argument. What we're arguing now that you have removed it, What contingency measures have you taken or are you taking to ensure that Nigeria do not go back to that state they were when there was no subsidy, first subsidy removal? What is the difference for if the members of the public, if the citizen can sacrifice to pay more?
Yeah.
What is the benefit for them? That's the question we are asking now. This is almost a year. By in the next 30 days now, it will be 1 year after fuel subsidy removal. What are the benefits? When you are telling Nigerians, okay, if you have not removed it, so, okay, what is the difference between when the fuel subsidy was not removed, Nigeria was still funding it, and now it has been removed? So what are the benefits? How has it impacted in the long term and the short term? You may say, okay, short term, Nigerians should endure and all this. Okay, what are the indices, the roadmap that is showing, okay, in the long term, something is being done? You know, even there can be what we call low-hanging fruit from this. For example, this making sure that there is fuel available for all Nigerians to buy it at least at that 6 something or 700 or 5 something. Which is, do you know the difference between what were we buying it before May 29? 1, 2, I've forgotten again.
100 and
yes,
67.
The difference is so huge. And now you remove with that difference of per liter or over 500 per liter. And you are telling me that Nigeria over a year, there's no difference in terms of benefit for Nigerians. So coming back to when you say Tinubu is beating his chest and saying, I say, Kim, I don't know if you managed to be in some of these government offices or those with the way Nigerian system, the way Nigerian system is designed, it shields our political office holders from the reality of life. They are living in a different world. And most times when they talk in a way that to make life easier for them to govern, not for Nigerians. So once they look at the pocket and see revenue affect them, to fuel their convoys, get money for their income, salary and wages, and all the retinue of appointees, whatever, and that lifestyle, they begin to cry and look how to impose it on the citizen. So while he's smiling to him, is working for him. Have you seen the retinue of 8? Do you know why when they get out of power, they be like a fish out of the river? They be like a fowl that ran, that is soaked and drenched in rain. Because the difference between when they're in power and outside it, the difference is so stark that you cannot imagine. The way our system shields our political office holders is so enormous. And that's why they don't even understand. These people, they don't fuel, they don't queue. They have depots in their either offices or like we go to national. There's a in the National Assembly. So they don't, even if it come to the situation they have aides who queue for them, drivers
they are disconnected from the reality.
They are disconnected from reality. They don't go. No matter, even if you say the price of bread now is 2,000, they can comfortably buy it. In my small level now, there are some certain things I comfortably do without betting an eyelid. Why? That thing is a monthly salary for someone else.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
All right.
So government sometimes, except you drag them, that's why active citizenship, active opposition is necessary for democracy to thrive. Because those in power need to be called to order, need to be cautioned, because they are in power. Sometimes they don't even until they are out of it. They may not understand. That's why when people are trying to do active citizenship, they are serving and all that I call them unpatriotic. I get confused I get annoyed about it, because they are doing patriotic duty by reminding government that look at what you are supposed to do.
Well, that's what a democracy is about.
That's it.
That active participation on the part of the citizens.
Yes.
And more than ever, the state where we're in with our democracy, we need that active citizenry.
We
at
need
this
it
point
more
in
than
time.
ever now.
Collins Njoku says, I'm watching you live on Facebook from Abuja. I greet your guest. Thank you, sir, for the good job. Yusuf Oladapo Zakaria. We blame the government all the time, even when we are the ones sabotaging the effort. All filling stations along Abuja Kefi Expressway that never sold a liter of oil in the last 6 months now have, but selling at black market rate. How? So if you're saying they haven't sold in 6 months and all of a sudden they have, did they magically whip it up? Ike Chukwanyangu says, policemen are busy collecting money from drivers on the road. Some part of the country, see how police is collecting money from driver. Okay, I don't understand the context in which you sent that message. All of this comment I read from our Facebook page. Oludade Ibrahim, I see you on our YouTube page. And Comrade Johnson from Utako says, I'm sending a message from a mobile fuel station in Utako. I have been on the queue for 1 hour now. From all indication, it's very likely going to take me more than another hour to get fuel. If you want to call Ochanyawan, you have to complete the sentence. Okay, Sunday from Buhari, list of my problem at the moment. Just returned from Cross River, all through Benue, up onto Cross River. Fuel is sold at 888 naira per litre. It's just crazy, says Mary from Guagualada. Nigerians are following the man that knows the road and the man that has track record. May God help us all. Blessed Sam from Luwe. I don't know what is wrong with us as a people. We always have one issue or the other. I want to believe some people are working very hard to make life so difficult. I want to see an NPC group managing, director resign. Oludade Abiodun's stake there. And we need to call some filling station out, especially an NPC Ajabi. They deliberately sell with those that will pay them extra and leave others to suffer. I was on a queue for 2 hours on Saturday, and we didn't move an inch. When I tried to find out why I was abused and threatened, they boast that they take bribe to sell. I can do my worst. And let's see here. Mrs. Omaze, I'm trying to get to... Scrolling all the way down, still can't find it. The big question, Patrick in New Career is asking, why can't Nigerian government fix our refineries? Well, they're trying to fix the one in Port Harcourt. I don't know why it's taking forever, but yeah, that's where we are. We've been importing PMS since 1999 till date, and nothing has changed in the oil sector. If the government wants to fix the recurring fuel queue across Nigeria, the solution is produce your own PMS and sell to your people. Export the excess to other countries in Africa and make some money. I wonder what is so hard about doing that. Our leaders must stop making everything look difficult and fix the difficult problem. Nigerians are overburdened already. We're still dealing with the hard economy due to government unfriendly policy. Adding fuel scarcity to it shows that the government is not concerned about the well-being and welfare of people. And that's totally bad, says Patrick. Let's hear this caller. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim. How are you?
I'm all right. Welcome.
My name is Comrade Salis on the line.
Go ahead, sir.
My take about this fuel problem. You see, the problem is that the government of APC, first of all, they don't have idea. You know, when you look at Buhari government in 8 years, the man come with go slow, and from go slow, at last he say, I'm not aware. When you're not aware from the beginning of your tenure, the end of you're not aware, they are stealing, everything is going down. You're not aware after I leave office, which is the man that come again. It's a new local that he just come and he come to do things that he don't know. Because when you see Lagos, it was developed, but he claimed that he's the one who created Lagos today, and which is not why. Now you come as a president now.
What's your point exactly, sir?
I'm going to my point, because you see NNPC, they are not doing it right. When you see the government, they are lying, they have no truth. They cannot do anything. Our refinery is not working. They say it's working so time, it's working, now it's not working.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Mohammed Danjuma on Facebook says, greetings to your guest is really speaking my mind. God bless him. James Keme says, the digital oracle, distinguished senator in the studio, why are leaders so wicked? Nigerians are suffering. Stephen Trust Dusu, I see you also. And let's hear you. Then we'll get to the next story. Oops, sorry about that. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my name is Jerry.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Hello. Yeah. West Castle. Honestly, the industry and nothing they can do about it because NNPC is a limited liability, limited now. It's a private business. It's not under Nigeria government as 100%. You understand? And Dangote now. So all our work, many of our work now is a personal hand now. You understand? We'll be waiting and waiting Dangote. Then we decide how we will get fuel now. You understand? My point is this, that this thing happened. They privatize this thing, even in refineries, under Obasanjo, and Yaradua revoke it. And Buhari come back and privatize it now. You understand? And we give Dangote under how many years or how many months Dangote be refinery, and we cannot be any refinery. Leave this Niger Delta boys, who is a refinery illegal, make it to be legal, so that fuel will be everywhere. They refuse because of foreign interest.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Well, NNPC is still a government enterprise, albeit commercial at this point in time, and still pretty much have the influence of government over it. Kim, good afternoon. This is what you get when you have almost all public servants being hired based on who you know, aka grace of God, and not based on competence. I believe in referral, but the nepotism in recruitment in public service would never let it work. Check out how the current president got into power, and you see the standard in the country. I want to see people fired or resign, says Kobe from Canada. Let's move on to the next story, Senator. Looking at Kogi State, I think taking a cue from Lagos. Last week, the Lagos State governor was in Shanwolu was talking about how they topped up minimum wage by 35,000 naira, and they're still working on their minimum wage though. This is part of the intervention to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. And so on the average, a minimum earner in Lagos goes home with 70,000 naira. And we're talking about it last week and said, is that a benchmark? It means that with minimum wage, no going lower than 70K, perhaps, but they can review upwards. Obaseki has increased minimum wage to 70,000 in Edo State, and he announced a new minimum wage of 70,000 for civil servants in the state. The governor made a declaration today while inaugurating the Labour House. He named the Labour House after Adams Oshomole, senator representing Edo North and the former governor of the state. The new minimum wage regime in Edo will take effect from the 1st of May, Workers' Day, on Wednesday, the governor said. And the NLC and TUC have been agitating for a new minimum wage for workers across the state on the back of economic reform by President Tinubu. The removal of subsidy, unification of the forex window in 2023, it led to food inflation, spiking the price of other goods and services. And the minimum wage had been pegged at 30,000 since the 18th of April. 2019. However, the sum has been described as grossly inadequate and poverty wage in the face of prevailing economic hardship at this point in time. So Edo State, they have this in effect, which will come into effect on the 1st of May. Let's go on this quick break.
But on an adventure with Eat Right. Experience meals made with love, served with smiles and a chilled, refreshing bottle of Pepsi. But that's not all, guys. Eat Right is here with Happy, Saudi Arabia's biggest fast food restaurant with over 37 years of success serving customers across major cities in the world.
That's right. Eat Right and Happy are now open in Abuja and Kano in partnership with your favorite cola, Pepsi. So you can now start enjoying confirmed experiences with you and your loved ones every time you walk through our doors. Join our community by following us at Eat Right NG on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and at Eat Right FS on Twitter. Eat Right, more than a meal. It's a lifestyle.
This is Hard Facts. Hard Facts.
All right, I was giving a bit of the detail from Edo State, insinuation that a new national minimum wage will be announced. Who knows? Would there be a surprise announcement by the president on Workers' Day? Because I think that would be the icing on the cake on Workers' Day to tell them, all right, this is what we've agreed on. We've been doing a lot of deliberating and brainstorming on what would be the perfect living wage average for the workers. Are we getting a hint that it might be 70,000 naira? Because I don't think NLC would like this. NLC has been advocating for something way above this figure at this point in time.
Yes, I think maybe for a starting point, because it's unfortunate that even from the feelers I'm getting, the existing minimum wage we have, that's 30,000, right? That not all states are even meeting up to this, which to me is a form of wickedness to me by whoever a governor. Because if you actually check the percentage of public servants to the population of every state, it's not much. They may not be up to 10% or 5% of the state. So they don't have any excuse not to be able to meet up to the existing one. And even with the more money they are getting from the fuel subsidy removal, more allocation to them, so they should be able to, like the 70,000 you're talking about. So kudos to, I want to commend Obaseki for not even Lagos, because for me, if other states are paying 70, Lagos should be paying like 200 self as minimum wage. With their, all states are not supposed, but there should be a cap.
No, but that's why it's called a minimum wage, to saying that this is the minimum.
I'm coming to that minimum where every state, no matter how poor you are, you should be able to. Then, other states that are richer should not use that as an excuse to pay theirs to that minimum national one. That's what I'm saying. States like Rivers, Ogun, that are having both internal IGR and so should be able to. That's how it is, you know. The richer you are, you should be able to compensate your workers there. That's what I'm saying. So I must commend Edo State. When it was 30, it was one of the first governors to implement that minimum wage at 30,000. At least if you cannot praise him for any other thing, for being consistent in this area, is commendable, and other states should follow. If you can get from 30 to 70, it's a win. At least it's a starting point.
But how much can you do with 70? It's a win. I agree with you. But then, like you said,
all the states be paying
70 at that point in time.
Yes.
All right, let's take a quick break for the news at the top of the hour. Senator is still here. We'll still get more feedback.
Of rice, I guess.
Well, at least something that can afford you a bag of rice at the end of the month. 30 days of work, you should be able to at least afford a bag of... What's the bag of rice now? About that range.
About that range.
Yeah. All right, let's go on the break. We'll be back with more. Stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info. It's Hard Facts Roundtable. Stay with us.
This is Nigeria Info.